Triple J's Linda Mariano caught up with Sufjan on the phone over summer to talk about his latest release, The Age of Odds.
I'm doing well. How are you, Linda?
I'm doing quite well. That's nice that you used my name.
Oh,
You know, it's one of those things that you read like, if you use someone's name when you first learn it, then you two will be great friends.
right.
Apparently.
Well, I spend my lifetime explaining my name and spelling it and pronouncing it. And in a lot of, conversations, I completely miss the person's name, the person I'm talking to. And so it's been a real problem through my life. I never remember anyone's name because I spend so much time having to explain my own.
How do people say your name?
Well, they pronounce the J, so sometimes they'll say Sufjan, or I think they're just befuddled by the F and the J, or just the foreignness of it, especially in the States.
Maybe you should shorten it to Sufjan Stevens. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it's terrible. A lot of situations I just go by Steve. I don't mind if people call me Steve.
Oh, well, we'll call you Sufjan Stevens today.
Okay. That's
Okay,
fine.
let's talk about the album, The Age of Odds. It's the first album for you in 5 years. Tell us about the influence of American artist Royal Robertson. Who is he? Why does he appeal to you?
Well, he's a sign painter, African-American sign painter from Louisiana. He was a self-proclaimed prophet and a minister and sort of a soothsayer and a psychic, and he believed that he was making art to send a message to the people about the apocalypse, about the end of the world, and about utopian and celestial cities and all these visions that he had. So he was just a real visionary artist. And I think he appealed to me because I've always been obsessed with the heavens and with outer space and with cosmology and the cosmos.
Well, it is interesting. Listening to the new record, The Age of Odds, it's got this real pastiche of ideas. You've got the vocals, you've got all these layered different sounds from these kind of natural sounding vocals mixed in with these very electronic sounds. Where did you find the right sounds for this album, Sufjan?
Oh, I mean, it was a lot of trial and error, and it was a lot of time spent with rap and all kinds of effects pedals and guitar chords and synthesizers and sequencers and computers and processing everything. This is a record of process, really, and a lot of the songs were just built on sound experimentation. And I just tried everything I could do. I was running things through delays and and just throwing books on the floor and recording it and processing it and running my voice through all kinds of pedals, synthesizers. And to me, it was really all about dismemberment and deconstruction and cacophony and really opening myself up to the sort of hostility of improvisation. But at the end of the day, it's really they really are pop songs. There's very danceable and very poppy, and there's melodies and verse, chorus, guitar solo. It has all of the trappings of pop music, but it's built on this sort of foundation of improvisation and sound experimentation.
Well, we are going to have a listen to a song right now on Triple J. This is from the new Sufjan Stevens record, The Age of Odds. This song's called I Walked. Sufjan, is there any kind of improvised books throwing on floor, you sniffing into the microphone sound that we can listen out to in this?
Well, no, because this is sort of like the palate cleanser on the record. It doesn't really have any hostility. This is a very listenable, pretty song, so it doesn't really fall in line with that whole processing. Although I will say that almost everything is being run through a
dozen
space
pedals.
Echo there's all kinds of space echo and pedals, and my voice is delayed, and there's nothing natural about it. It's all synthetic.
And Sufjan joins us on the phone, currently in Brooklyn, in New York City. Is that where you're residing at the moment, Sufjan?
Yeah, this is my home.
Your hometown. Where are you? You sitting outside on the pavement?
No, it's so boring. I'm in my office.
Oh.
It's on the East River.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the record and about the fact that you're going to be coming to Australia. You haven't been here for a few years, but you're coming. What I wanted to know is how are you going to bring these songs to the stage in Australia next year?
Well, the band is pretty large. We have 11 people. We have 2 drummers, probably 6 keyboards and synthesizers, lots of guitars and basses, and a whole collection of guitar pedals and effects pedals. Everything is being run through some kind of processing. And the 2 drummers each have they have drum pads, 2 electronics that they use. And the show is kind of a sort of a pageant of sound, because the record it's sort of a very big pop record that's all about sound experimentation, and the show is trying to sort of render that live. And there's a lot of movement and there's a lot of sensation and sound, and we use a lot of video as well. We've been using some of the images from Royal Robertson's paintings.
Yep. Yep.
And we hired some 3D artists to kind of do this primitive 3D renderings of his work. And so some of the songs kind of create the sort of interior life of Royal, and they try to bring to life his imagination.
Let's go through the tour dates for you, Sufjan. The Australian tour for Sufjan Stevens, performing a lot of the songs, I'm guessing, off The Age of Odds. If you're in Sydney, you're coming here for the Sydney Festival, Thursday and Friday the 27th and 28th of January at the Concert Hall at Sydney Opera House. You're also playing at the Tivoli Theatre in Brisbane, Sunday the 30th of January. Monday the 31st, you're in Melbourne at the Arts Centre State Theatre. Tuesday the 1st of February at the Festival Theatre at the Adelaide Festival Centre, and on Thursday the 3rd of Feb at the Regal Theatre in Perth. Tickets are on sale now. You can check out the gig guide triplej.net.au for all of the details. Sufjan, one last question. It is coming up towards the end of the year. People are compiling their lists of, favourite albums and favourite new artists. Do you have any that you're particularly into at the moment? A new band or perhaps a song that you've really been getting into this year? I know it's hard being put on the spot.
That's tough. I've been listening a lot to the new Kanye record, and I think it's a real masterpiece, but it's also really troubling in terms of its production. Like, it seems to be an assemblage of all different styles and shapes and sizes in terms of there's no anchor to it. And I think it's fascinating because it's a hip-hop record, but it's not really a hip-hop record at all.
Yeah.
It's like everything. And I think that's happening a lot more now, is that like there's a kind of, all the sort of categories are sort of being eliminated, and there's a real like sort of cross-pollination going on. And I think that's really exciting. There's so much more collaboration going on now.
It's a nice mishmash.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, Sufjan, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us this afternoon on Triple J. And we look forward to seeing you early next year as you bring the whole band and get down on your knees and twiddle around on some pedals on stage.
Yeah, great. Can't wait to be there.
Great. Thanks, Sufjan.
All right, thank you.
What a rockin' download.